awesome.
It's awesome. That's the best line to start with. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on the Wellness WOWday. I'm here with the beautiful Dawnell Kelly, who's going to share her story today about the day her life changed for the good, the better, and the totally awesome. And even a bigger hello, even more awesome, because guys, this is episode 5, but it's my first lady. So she's the first queen to join me on screen. Oh, that rhymes. Hey, oh, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I've clearly had too much sugar or something, but we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. It's all awesome. Oh, I'm hitting my mic already. I'm gonna sit back. Okay, so I think the start of this is going on today. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna relax. I've done your intro. Queen Bee, please let us know about your wellness day. Let's just kick it off. Let's get into it.
Awesome. All right. So to start from the very beginning, no, just kidding. So I had an epiphany of sorts when I had a life-changing moment. I got pregnant, right? I'd been trying for a year and it's really exciting. Okay, we know this, but what people don't tell you is your brain totally shifts. And so you're thinking about how has my life been and how can I be healthier now? And so you see things differently. And I'm sure you guys have done that in your own way. But have you ever lived your life a certain way and you're going along and then something happens and you look back and you go, whoa, I can do this so much better. There's other areas of my life that I can pivot to be so much healthier. So I realized some of the experiences I'd been through in the past were actually toxic. So I needed to cut out those relationships to focus on my mental health. And honestly, previously, I thought something, how do I describe it? I had a physical manifestation of my stress and I didn't know it. Okay. I had seizures right out of nowhere. I started having seizures before I got pregnant. I had no idea what was going on. None of the doctors could figure it out. It was an anomaly, right? I get pregnant, I start doing inner work, and I didn't have any the whole time I was pregnant. And it was just insane to realize that it's not only our mental health, but our mental health can manifest physically and not just maybe a headache or we're feeling a little down, which is valid, but full blown blackout seizures out of it's just insane to me. So I really wanted to come on here and share that no matter what you're going through, it's valid and it's not crazy and it's not weird. And there is something to be learned from it. It's just a matter of when you're ready to learn it. Isn't that crazy?
Not crazy. You're talking to me. I'm going, this is like completely normal. But what you've said there about the mind and body connection, your body went through something physical because you've pregnant. So of course, what does it do? The mind just starts responding. And of course, what does your body do? It's going, oh my dear God, something's going on. And it's when your body shares seizures, like you said, headaches and stuff, these can be underlying things of what's happening. It could be stress, it could be worry, it could be anxiety. And the physical representations that we have are, in many ways, our body's going, hey, help me. But of
That's
course,
exactly right.
because obviously for you, obviously going through the seizures, being pregnant, okay, I'm kicking my cables. I'm really the child in the corner today. So you went through all these physical sides, but we started saying that it was this mental. So how did these fuel? Because initially when you started feeling these physical seizures and these symptoms, you would have had the mental reaction. So how much did that elevate it? Did that change the physical? What happened?
So essentially, I had been carrying a lot of stress and I wasn't aware of it. You build up a tolerance, right? You don't know any better until you experience something different and you look back and go, whoa, I was really stressed out. I was really depressed. And it built up to the point where I say it broke my brain. And I started having physical seizures. My body's like, I cannot take this stress. You need to deal with it. You need to figure out what's happening. And of course, I wasn't ignoring it per se, but I definitely didn't recognize it. I just thought this is life and it sucks. And that's not the case. So eventually I got pregnant. My brain shifted. I realized I need to figure out what's going on. So therapy, journaling, a lot of inner work. And that hurt too. I had pain in my chest as I was healing on and off. It was magical. Okay. It wasn't fun, but it definitely worked. And it was definitely healthy to go through and really dig deep into the pain. And so as I started getting healthier, started coming out of it, they finally, after about 6 years, determined where the seizures were coming from. And now I'm good to go. So really cool.
I like that. I'm good to go, but I know what
Yep.
I'm doing now. Because, as you said, everyone talks about getting pregnant as this blessing, and it really is, because we're giving birth to life. We're bringing a new creation into this world. It is kind of magical, and it's part of you and all this sort of stuff. And but of course, the mental side of it, there's always the things that we talk about at the end, like feeling not ready to be a mother, not, all this, not good enough, like how am I going to cope, all these sorts of fears. But you're saying about the stuff that happened right at the beginning. So
Yeah.
other than obviously excitement for finding out, yes, we're finally pregnant, yes, we're winning, what were the exact thoughts you were telling yourself which were not so positive?
Okay, so some of the not so positive thoughts, like you said, obviously is, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to provide a healthy environment? Oh my gosh, I need to be healthy. How do I do that? Okay, I start taking the steps to be healthier and it's really painful. And I'm like, I see why I didn't do this before. This takes some work, except of course I had to wait until I was pregnant. So it's compounded with the hormones and the quote craziness. So it was a lot to go through. It was essentially the caterpillar to butterfly in every sense of the word. So yeah, some of those thoughts, a lot of it is self-doubt. But I didn't have the option of self-sabotage that I've used in the past because it wasn't about me anymore. So
Yeah,
it was just, it was like I was forced to make better choices for my mental health. There was just no way around it.
because you're saying about the lack of self-worth, but then you've also just said it wasn't about me anymore. So did you sort of shut yourself out of the picture, as it were?
It was a catalyst. So I needed the pregnancy to start focusing on my health for my baby initially. But obviously, as you do your inner work, as you bring up your sense of self and worth, then you can see clearly and go, hey, I need to do this for me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to dig yourself out of a situation by yourself. So that was my catalyst. And I'm sure you guys have had different ones on your own, something that you hit rock bottom and it pulled you out of it, whatever that looks like. Mine just happened to be getting pregnant.
Because I mean, obviously we'll stay with the women, because right now we'll shift to the male point of view. We'll give the guys. So if you are listening, we will give you our female version of what we think men think. So please correct us and update us. But let's stay with the women's side of things, because obviously there's this desire to be a mother. There's the connection you feel from the minute go. There's all of this, like I said, the hormones. It's just like this thoughts, these feelings. Then of course you're going, shit, I can't even move like I used to. After a while, you're like going, everything's kind of this, boobs are sore. Oh, the whole shebang is going on. And of course, at some point, like you said, you've kind of realized, what do you think happens to women who kind of don't take the balance, or not sure, like they find themselves feeling this? Where would you say, like, if it's me, I'm coming to you for advice and I'm going,
Okay.
I'm feeling confused, my head hurts, all this, where would you tell me to start?
I would say take a minute, try to do some meditation and not do anything. Because obviously it's overworked, your nervous system, your mind, everything's in overdrive. So I would say maybe go to Liz or go somewhere, right? Go to yourself, but go somewhere and try to figure out how to shut everything out, all of the negative thoughts. Just shut the mind down and just let it rest, right? Because in that space of quiet, in those times of relaxation, that can be the most helpful for getting the answers that we need to move forward. So that's what I would say to start with. Just shut it all out, shut her down, reset, unplug yourself from the wall and just zoom out a little bit and realize, nothing is that serious, right?
Because women, we're naturally more emotional. So guys, you're probably saying, going, yes, you are. Okay. Particularly, we're going to be more emotional. We're proud of it. Okay. It's one of our qualities, a beautiful quality. So you're saying here, let's shut down the mind. Is it a case of trying to detach slightly so we can think a bit more logical and look at, say, the wider spectrum, just not this feelings of inadequacy? So letting go of the feelings a little bit so we can actually see what is actually the realities.
Yes, that's part of it. Also, I'm a big advocate for not trying to get rid of your feelings, but more so being able to accept them for what they are, right?
I'm very sorry, I just got my foot right around the cable. The light nearly went flying. Okay.
What a day you're having, Liz. Holy smokes.
Oh, you have no idea.
So yes, all these feelings that may be coming up, instead of trying to push them away, which is what I did, right? And then it culminated into seizures. So if I could have recognized these feelings and just sat with them and just say, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Just let the feelings be there, but I can work around them. And eventually they resolve themselves, or I can learn, right? If you're fearful, if you're worried, something's happening, maybe really look at it and think, why is this happening? What does this mean? So that's the detachment that you're talking about. It's just, we're not completely detaching and disassociating, right? Using alcohol or other methods to completely numb out, but we're also not super attached either. So that balance, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing when you do, as you said there, the numbing out. So when we look to escape mechanisms, so escape techniques, it is basically putting the bandage on what's actually going on. It doesn't actually solve. She's like, no, definitely.
Nope, it sure doesn't. It just sits there and it'll just hang out until later.
Or to like me, I kick something over, these sorts of things.
Yep, it'll just keep hanging around until you deal with it. You just have to, a lot of us just think we have to fight it, right? Or we have to find a solution. But if we just sit with it and look at it, like, here's me and here's this feeling over here. Let's look at all angles and see what's really going on here, right? So have some compassion for ourselves and realize, no, we're not lazy or we're not stupid. It's just, you can just ask, what is going on here? Why do I feel this way?
Yeah. And so, like you said, the step back, because obviously trying to dig into something actually makes it worse. It makes it spiral a lot bigger. So to help sort of make this sort of more logical, would you say journaling really helped? You mentioned it before briefly. Do you just say that's kind of a great way to help you sort of let go a little bit and get thoughts?
I call it dirty writing. And so what I do, I'll set a timer from anywhere to 5 to 15 minutes. And I just take a regular notebook and a pen, and I just start writing out everything I'm thinking. Nonstop, no punctuation, no editing, just let it all out onto the paper. And then you might catch some certain patterns or some things that you didn't know about yourself. Maybe some darker thoughts come out, but you're letting yourself just be free 100%. And you're not saying it out loud. You're not putting it on the internet, right? It's just pen to paper, just let it all out and see what happens. See how you feel.
Because if we stay on the journaling thought, because this is actually quite a valuable tool. So even if you're not pregnant, you're the man in this experience. Journaling can be a very powerful tool. So Dawnell has just shared about the just venting it out. So just literally writing it. And I'm assuming with that, not reading it later. Is that?
You don't have to, no. You might notice some patterns not by reading it, but by just writing it, right? You might notice some things. Wow, I've talked about this a few times here. Or, wow, I felt about this. Or, wow, I really don't want to do this thing anymore, right? Like you put a lot of time and effort into something and you think you have to do it. But if you're writing and you realize, I don't want to do it, that's okay. You really figure out who you are and what you want and not what everyone else is telling you to do.
So that's mode 1, guys. Because what you can also do is, I was just flashing my book there because
yes,
I have mine quite flexible. So mine's a morning and night one. If I do it in the morning, I have to do it at the night. But if I woke up this morning and I went, like this morning, I went, no, I'm not feeling that. That's fine. Actually, can just sit because I'm in that comfortable space. But then I'm also there going, if I want to read it, I've got thoughts or ideas and stuff that, I can skim through. But I don't feel the need to. So it's exactly what you're saying. However, what part 2 of journaling is as you said, the venting thing. Have you ever binned it, like ripped it up and thrown it away afterwards?
I don't have to do that, but it is very helpful. Sometimes burning it can be helpful too. But I personally just just let it go completely. I can just flip the page, start a fresh one next time. But it takes time to get to whatever you're comfortable with. A couple years ago, I probably would have needed to burn it to really go through that letting go ritual.
So there you go. Those who are listening, there's a deeper way to go to the journaling. The other thing is we're talking about sharing. I mean, the reason I flashed my book as well was because that's my new moon page. So guys, you can see they're full. Okay. So yeah, it's things like today I woke up feeling, this will make today a good day. But this was the new moon, so I wrote this year. I recognize, so it was a bit more, but I filled it. Okay. The one thing you can write like this. You can write an essay. You can fill the page of we just shared. You can keep it, not read it. You can bin it, whichever. Or you can literally just take pen to paper and write 2 or 3 bullet points. Or maybe it's things you want to focus on, something good. Did you ever think about, I'm thankful I'm pregnant and bits of gratitude? Did those ever come out in your journey?
Yes. So actually, let me pull it up here.
She's got hers now.
See what we're
See, show and tell here, guys. Show and tell.
So this one, let me pull it up here. I actually use 2 different types depending on the type of journaling. So I have a journal like you, right? And I have different areas of things that I've learned, things I want to work on, and just inspiration that comes to me. So this is the one I keep and I can refer back to. This one is my dirty writing journal, right? Just crappy. You can just write whatever you want, rip it out if you want to, but it's separate from all my goals, dreams, inspirations. So I separate the 2. Yep.
Yeah, what I do when I want to have a dirty writing book, I actually just take up a piece of paper on its own.
Perfect. Yep. Perfect.
And I've got some bits. See, guys, we're showing you everything we have. This is how it works. But this is a recycled elephant dung notebook. Don't ask me, I'm not sure, but apparently that's what the label said.
Okay.
But these are great. Having one of these on your desk, because you can literally take it off, scribble on the idea on it, and it's that sort of size. Let me on the camera. It's not too big, but if there's something really annoying you, like I'm really annoyed the fact my feet have swollen and I'm not feeling good and I don't think I can do this and whichever, and you can rip it off and it's done.
Yes.
And it's literally big enough. See, you can see I'm halfway through it. I use it for different
reasons. It's nice because you're just letting it go. You're acknowledging the feeling, but it's not getting in the way of the rest of your day.
No. And then the other way I use as well, is I have Post-its as well, which I think are in my drawer. So when I have a positive feeling and something worth celebrating, I write a Post-it note as an affirmation and I put it onto my wall.
That's brilliant.
And then after a week or 2, I can say a couple of weeks, I'll look at them and I'll keep looking at them all the time. Then I'll suddenly go, that one's not quite a thing. I'll take them all off. And then I literally start again.
Nice.
And they do keep reoccurring. So this is the same. So if you're going through the pregnancy stage, you'll sit there one day, you'll be like, I can't do that. I mean, I think they're in my drawer somewhere. I did put them away. You retain them, but I just took them off my wall.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And now I'm starting to write my new ones. And the same things are coming up. It's thing, but actually the method of writing and committing it to paper is a beautiful expression.
That's so smart. So you're not just letting go of the quote negative things. You're also really focusing on the positive in your workspace. That's incredible.
See, so guys, we've just given you a few ideas. So whether you're feeling pregnant, you're just feeling a little bit, you just want to, a few tips. There's a few ways of bring the journaling into your life. But as I did say, we were going to hit on the female side. We will stay with the females because we're both women. We know how that works. But let's talk about the men, okay? Because you're going through all these feelings, okay? And of course, even our dads who love us unconditionally since the day we were born get hell from us. How were the men around you feeling? Because did you kick off and go, you don't understand, you don't get this, how can you, and pulling your hair out at them? Were you ever like that?
It's honestly, I was not. I knew going into it, I was so grateful to even get pregnant that I really wanted to share that gratitude and that joy with everyone. That might not be everyone's experience, but I waited so long for it. I wanted it to be the most joyous, positive experience that I could imagine. So anytime I was feeling those hormonal negative feelings, I would actually just let it all out. And my husband would just let me vent, and if I wanted feedback, I would ask for it, but otherwise he would just listen. So very smart on his part.
But did you ever say to him, I got a vent? Did you ever sort of have a keyword, or just say to him, did he know like in advance? Did you pre-warn him, like, there's going to be times I'm going to vent, just listen to me?
Yes. And so that's part of not just the pregnancy, but the relationship overall. It's either I really need to get this off my chest, or if it's really bad, I'll say, I need a minute. And I just go into a different room by myself and either meditate, journal, punch my pillow, do whatever I need to do. So it was a lot of forethought. But again, I'm an older mom, right? 10 years ago, whole different story. Being pregnant, I would have been a lot more impulsive, right? Yeah.
So I'm going to hold you on that one, because obviously being older women, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic. 40s are the new 30s, in my opinion. But I've even said that, if I was in my 20s and I got pregnant and all this, I wouldn't know what to do, because it's overwhelming, if that makes sense. And now I just go, yeah, it's fine. I could handle it. Yeah. And I know in a blink of an eye, it'll be absolutely fine. And it's a completely different sort of attitude. So if we say you're feeling younger, because we have some younger listeners, and you find we've said the key thing is to channel those thoughts. Would you say, because there will be single mums as well. Yep. Is it that important to have a key person, or just have the right group around you?
Yes, we need a support group, even when you're not pregnant. It's really important to have other people to support you and you to support them. So you get kind of a positive energy from helping others too. So that sort of mutual relationship, whatever that looks like, is beneficial for both people. So I always advocate, have some friends, have some family members, have whatever that looks like for you, but you don't have to do everything alone.
Sounds like you went through an incredible journey. So what habits did you start while you were pregnant that have become part of your life?
Meditation. So I use the Headspace app to start, because I could not get out of my own head. I would just continually think and worry and doubt. So meditation was huge to literally reshape how my brain worked. Journaling and exercise. Exercise was huge, because especially before I got good at meditating, I couldn't worry while I was exercising, or I'd fall off a machine. So I had to focus on what I'm doing, especially as you get bigger, right? Your balance is off. You got to be careful. So I'd really have to just listen to music and just go for it. So that was very helpful. So those three things, I had the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. I was trying to coordinate all three of those to really help out. So yes.
So if we said, okay, you got unwell and you couldn't exercise, how would you feel?
If you gotten well, you said?
So if you suddenly, for example, you got unwell and you couldn't exercise for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, like if I couldn't, yeah, and that's true. Towards the end there, you're a beach ball, right? You're not going anywhere. I barely could get off the couch. So at that point in time, I can't exercise. That's not an outlet. So what do? I use my support group. Right? I vent. Oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. All I want to do is eat. What is wrong with me? And they say, you're pregnant. That's how it goes. Deal with it. It's temporary. And that knowledge where someone else can say, hey, they're detached even further, right? So they can go, hey, yeah, you're absolutely right. This sucks, but it's temporary. So you have to hold on to that no matter what is going on. Change is inevitable, good or bad, but you're never going to be in the same place for the rest of your life. It's just impossible. So that really got me through, like, okay, I can hold on for another week. And then I'm like, get this kid out of me, right?
So there you go, guys. If you need an affirmation to reaffirm to your woman that it's only temporary, a couple of weeks, and you'll be back.
Yes.
And trust me, if a pregnant woman has kept relatively active during pregnancy and looked after her body, pregnancy is generally much easier. But also in a few weeks post-pregnancy, can you actually sort of shape your body back if you do it the right way?
Yes.
So obviously, being a young mum, a young mum, new mum.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with being still young. All right. So obviously, being a new mum and things like this, did you find it sort of hard? Because obviously there's all this excitement of new baby and stuff, and you've got all these new habits. Did you ever? Obviously, the habits kept you going with the sort of mental negative talk, but were there any really challenging times, sort of, as a new mum, to try and fit everything in and just without exploding?
Yes. So fortunately, I was way too exhausted to explode, right? I didn't have the energy for anything. So that was almost a blessing, right? But as things started to even out, that messy middle was actually the most difficult part. So initially,
Mm.
everyone talks about the fatigue and not really having the energy or the time to do anything, but you don't want to because you're so tired. It's almost easy because you just do exactly what you can do, the bare minimum to get through. But the middle part between that and you're starting to get your energy back, but you're not quite there, and you're starting to have more time, but you don't know what you want to do. That is the tough part. That's the hard spot where you're not exhausted, but you're not up and running. You don't have a routine. You're not you still. You're just this zombie mom in between. So I think to get through that, you have to take it one day at a time or you'll lose your mind, right? Today, this very minute, I just need a minute, especially if the baby is crying, right? And you're freaking out and they go through the stage where that's what they do. Like there's nothing wrong with them. They're just crying. I don't know if they're exercising their lungs, but it was blowing up my mind. So you just put the baby in the room, right? Set a timer for 5 minutes, go to the other side of the house, breathe, and just minute to minute. I'm doing okay in this minute. I'm doing okay in this minute. I'm doing okay in this minute. And then the support system too. So you don't totally jump off the brink into a pool of insanity. So yeah, it's just that middle part, right? You just have to take it day by day, minute by minute. As long as you're breathing, you can get through it.
So then leads the question, how
Yes.
did you establish Dawnell, the beautiful woman, the wife, and the mother with their own identity in one package?
Oh, well, if you think about it, this is how I shape things. A lot of us think it's selfish to take time for ourselves. In my point of view, I think it's selfish not to. So for me to fully show up as the mother I know I can be, the wife I know I can be, the business owner I can be, I need to take care of me, right? Because without me, none of those things is going to happen anyway. So I really have to carve out time to focus on my mental, spiritual, and physical health. So I have the energy and I really want to be present, not just going through the motions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like feeding your kid and dressing them is nice, but what about that emotional attachment, right? What about the bond? You can't do that if you're off in la la crazy land. So yeah. Yep.
I mean, they always talk. I mean, I love it. It's spot on because people talk about relationships, how you need time apart as well to build time together. Obviously, when you've got a child involved, that becomes even more critical because you need time apart from everything to be you. You need time together as just a couple. So because there's a reason you fell in love and became parents together. So you need that time. You need time as family, and then you need time as your business owner and what you do. So it's important to actually probably keep, I'll say, communicating with your partner.
Yes.
And saying, look, how can we establish this? Because we all need this. This is what we all need.
And that's where additional support can come in. So there's online classes that you can take as a couple to focus on how to transition from that to new parents and develop that romantic relationship. And then you each have your own individual relationship with your child. And then you have a relationship as a family. And then you have your other roles as working, right? You have hobbies. So initially you kind of have to focus in on priorities, right? There's only so much time in a day. But as you go along, you start developing more and more ways to be healthier. So really, you just have to remember that you're on the same team, right? And you're doing the best you can. And you really don't get a lot of time together as a couple initially, because as soon as you have time, you fall asleep. But eventually, you catch up on sleep and then you have time to actually communicate and talk about things that don't involve diapers, right? So it just takes time, but that's why I'm thankful we planned this for so long because we knew, right? And then one tip I would say for sure, multiple times a day, you have to check in with each other. Literally just ask this one question. How are you doing? How are you doing right now? And be honest with your answer.
That's it. Like going, I'm fine.
Nope.
Ban the word fine.
Yeah.
Can we ban
you
the
have
word
to
fine?
be honest. Yeah. Because guaranteed the other person is feeling something similar or something that, so I'm feeling a little down or I'm really stressing out or actually I'm really thankful right now. I'm just feeling good about it. Whatever that is, get it out and share that. right? When I served in the military, that really got us through a lot of hard times, is just being open and honest, because you're going through it together. So now you're stronger together. So same thing in a relationship.
Yeah. And of course, so obviously, ladies, remember, detach, allow the emotions to be, but find a safe venting space. I think this is from everything you've been telling me over each stage. So even before the exciting thing, there's so much the part of the journey that's together, but it's also important to remember you have those safe outlays, the safe sort of safe space without pushing a button too far and draining something.
Yeah, you really have to remember, at the root of everything, you're the only one that's you, and everything else in your life has to come from you being healthy first. Right? So you don't want to just be going through the motions. Then what's the point of anything in life, right? You want to enjoy it. And that doesn't always mean it's easy, but it's worth it. So you got to take care of you. You have to.
Well, I mean, yes, I can't remember what day of the week I'm on, but I did a live session this week and spoke about how News resolutions, we do change, we have to, the people that don't realize to make something change, you have to give something up. You have to change something you're already doing, because we, as you said, we've got 124 hours. We already fill our 24 hours. But of course, pregnancy, it forces you to. So would you advise somebody, say I'm talking to you and I'm going, I want to get pregnant, I'm planning on getting pregnant in the next 12 months. What would, you say to somebody who's like before you started your journey?
Honestly, just good luck. You're going to do great. And be open. Always be open-minded and curious, because you can't plan anything. You might have an idea of what you want, but if you could just focus on the why of it, really get to the root of the value and the feeling you're going to have when you reach that goal of getting pregnant. That's all you can really focus on. You can plan everything else out, but if it doesn't go according to plan, it's really stressful, right? So you have an idea, you have some sort of a plan, but you're not attached to it. What you need to focus on is, what is that feeling you're going to have when you reach that goal? How does it feel? Just feel it right now and just go for it.
And would you encourage them to start being healthier or putting their themselves first?
Yes. So when you figure out the why and you really get to the root of it, then it's a matter of, how do I get that? How do I get to that feeling? And that's where, if you need to be healthier, that'll come up. If you need to focus on your mental health, that'll come up. So everything will bloom from that seed of why. You'll know exactly what you need to do to get to that feeling.
You're just like, I'm just glowing. I'm just like, right. So I'm just going to ask, how old's your little one now?
He just turned 1 year old on the 27th.
See? So guys, this isn't something that happened years and years ago. She's forgotten. This is the journey, and the fact 1 year before. So this is really within a 2 year window. So from 1 year before to getting pregnant, having superstar, right? Well, I say 2 years because
Yeah, averages out. But yeah, it's a journey. Just like anything worth having, right? Anything that you desire, it's not cut and dry. You can't Google it, right? Everybody's journey is different. So that's why I say, figure out, why do you really want this? What is the goal here? What do you want out of it? And then everything else, you'll do it. You'll do the work. It's worth it. So for me, I kind of got a shortcut, right? Getting pregnant, I was forced to be healthier. So a lot of you were like, oh, easy for you. You had to. It's like, kind of, yeah.
But it also made you worse. Remember, you said at the beginning, getting pregnant, you end up starting having seizures and this.
Oh no, that was before I got pregnant. So the stress culminated, right? I started having seizures even before I met my husband. Yeah. And then I couldn't figure it out. This happened over years and years. Once I got pregnant, I stopped having seizures. I didn't have any seizures my whole pregnancy. That's what I'm saying. So seizures, pregnancy, no seizures.
I was just getting too excited about everything else, clearly.
So it works. Yeah. If you start changing things, I mean, you get healthier. It works. Yes. So yes, definitely for the better. Still a little stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously, one thing, listeners, if you probably don't realize that obviously I'm ex-military as well. When I was leaving the military, my final medical, because of stress, picked up a heart murmur. So a flutter in my heartbeat, which I've had an ECG and my heart's fine. But when I'm excessively stressed, I get that flutter in my heartbeat.
Yes.
It's only happened, I think, once or twice since, but it's actually kind of painful.
Yes.
And these sorts of things happen because of stress and what we're doing to our mental well-being. And we can be so excited, but we can put pressure on ourselves. So I'm sure you had it before getting pregnant, of people going, well, you need to be doing this now. You need to be thinking about this. If you want it to happen. I mean, I had someone yesterday say to me, if you want kids, just grab a man and get pregnant.
All right, let me hop on Amazon. Like, what does that mean?
I was like, that's a little bit extreme, but but there's a lot of pressure on you. Do you think some of the stress that you were feeling was people, like, obviously, what you want, but from the external world putting more pressure on you to achieve it?
Yeah, a lot of people had a lot of different opinions, and I really had to remind myself, they're right according to their point of view, but it doesn't mean I have to take the advice. But still, hearing it is stressful, right? Especially if you're second guessing, you've never done this before. Anytime you do something new, you're always like, am I doing this right? What's happening? So yeah, definitely stressful.
Yeah. Do you find that, though, learning this, say, hard lesson before pregnancy helped with you, like, post-pregnancy? Because I tell you what, number of times, and like, I've seen people get pregnant and people go, oh, you should do this, or you should do this, or everyone becomes an expert.
Yes. Yep. And you just say, oh, great, that's wonderful. And then move along, or just try not to say anything. So it doesn't come out really rude, right? Sometimes I just had to bite my tongue and then just let it go, because if I opened my mouth, not so nice things would have came out.
So there you go, guys. A bit of reflection back on why journaling is good, because sometimes being verbal can be not so good.
Not so good. No. Nope. Just write it out, let it out, burn it, let it go. And they are coming from a good place. So
yeah. People have good intentions. They do have good intentions. But to be honest, it's been an absolute privilege, because there are so many women in the world who either in the future want to get pregnant, who have a daughter, a cousin, who obviously, and we all have feelings, fears, whether we've got a partner or not got a partner. It's important to know, one, that you're not alone. Two, to take care of your well-being. So take those times to let go of emotions, detach, and also recognize that physical symptoms are warning signs.
Yes.
And are there the mild ones, like repetitive headaches, for example, are things to listen to before things become a much more serious problem.
Yeah, like seizures. Don't get there, folks. Don't do it.
See, from the word of somebody who basically hit the point of, oh shit, because I can tell you now, most likely, if you kept going and you hadn't sort of fallen pregnant, it wouldn't.
Not good.
We're not even going there, guys.
No, not worth it. Just listen to your body and really sit down and try to figure it out. It's not worth it.
So let's closing thought, because you've said, obviously, habits that we've done. So you get into fitness, meditating, and journaling.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you said exercise was the mental habit as well. So would you say finding one mental habit is the best place to start? If you're experiencing pregnancy, looking into that, would you say that's the best place to start?
Oh yeah, because that really affects your physical health and other areas of your life. Start there. Start somewhere, right? And then as you start getting that momentum, like a snowball going down the hill, you'll gain more and more traction towards your health. But just do something small for yourself.
Well, I'm going to do something small for you and say thank you.
You're welcome. This was great. This is wonderful.
Well, obviously, guys, thank you for listening. You have got a bit of value, male and female listeners. It isn't just all about a pregnancy. It's never just about one person. It's always a journey. And of course, there is a life coming into this world. It never ends. So if you learn the right habits pre-pregnancy, you have a smoother pregnancy and post-pregnancy or at any stage of life. These will work anytime. But of course, Dawnell is a beautiful business owner. I'm going to leave her links below because I'm not going to tell you anymore. But she does amazing work helping people, entrepreneurs, businesses. She helps you get your shit sorted. Let's just say that.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
She helps you get your shit sorted in a clearly defined way and 100% professional. Could not recommend her enough. But her links are dropped below in the comments. So if you want to connect with her, do reach out. I would recommend checking her website. And of course, any of the links that she does give me will be down below. So I recommend you look out for what's sliding below. Otherwise, I would say we're into 2023 when this is posting. So happy 2023. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being my queen, for kicking off the year.
I love it. This is great.
So, otherwise, thank you and goodbye.
Bye.